NIO CEO came out and said that he expects the EV penetration to grow by 20% or double to 20% in the next 2 years, which is massive growth. But you know where we see massive growth? On his channel, and that's because you guys all sub to the channel. Thank you guys so much for all the support. If you are not subbed to the channel, like 75% of you, hit that sub button. It's the best way to stay up to date on all things NIO, all things Tesla, stock market related, all that good stuff. Also, we got links in the description for the Discord if you guys want to hop over, or for the Patreon to hop into the Discord if you guys are interested in that. But let's go ahead and hop into it. So again, he did say that he expects to see just the Chinese EV growth, by up to 20% by in the next 2 years, which isn't obviously just NIO, it's just the entire sector in general. Right. They in March they hit 10%, which is 10% of all vehicle sales were the EVs, and I think it's a stepping stone. It's not 95%, but it's you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere.
And to me, that's more exciting because think of it's only up from here pretty much. Like think of how much more they can sell. If right now they're only doing, all EVs are only 10%. Like you can sell a whole lot more cars, in the future once it's obviously more than just 10 or 20%. But
right.
Huge room for growth, pretty much.
100%. And like he said, he expects it to grow, to 20% in the next 2 years, which isn't really that far away, which I honestly feel like I'm going to expect more, honestly, just based on the growth that we've seen in them expanding, just with Tesla and NIO alone expanding, they're just like dominating.
China is just, they really support all the EV stuff. Like we've said before, they have already over 500,000 chargers, and they're working towards 1 million in the next few years, which that's nuts. So just the whole Chinese government is also is backing the whole EV movement, which is really going to help. They're pushing more incentives and stuff like that, so it's only going to help make the EV sector just boom in China more. So
right. He did say that the sales hit a high in March, but he said 98% of the people that bought the EVs still have fuel powered cars. So I feel like that's going to be the hard icebreaker for most when they come to America, for most Americans, because we have muscle cars, we have the sports cars. People love that. People are not going to just give that up for EVs. I don't think fuel cars are going to go away for a very, very long time.
Not in my lifetime, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah, people are still going to love their muscle cars. People are still going to love their fast cars. I don't think that's going to go away for a very long time. And I feel like that's probably the same for the entire world.
And my big issue with just EVs is I kind of see it as you kind of have to have a second car still, at least for me, just
right.
Because I do a lot of road trips and everything, and I just don't want the hassle of planning out where I'm going to stop. And a lot of times I do it at night. So we always talk about, you stop at the shopping mall and you screw around for Target for 30 minutes while your Tesla charges. Well, it's 2:00 in the morning, nowhere's open. So what are you doing? Just sleeping in your Tesla for 30 minutes while it charges? Doesn't really sound like a good time to me. So that's why if I ever bought one, at least now, I would still have to have a regular car just because I don't want those extra hassles. But if NIO comes over and they bring over them swapping stations, I just
go to the gas station,
pull up to the whatever 7-Eleven, and they got a NIO swap station there. I just swap it out and I'm good to go. Right. So I think once at least charge times become not as long, which obviously they're always going to be making improvements to that, then I think that's when people will have just their car is an EV. It's not going to, they're not going to also have to have a gas car.
Right.
Pretty much.
Right. And I think those concerns, are valid about charging and stuff like that, because that's kind of my concern. But he said that William Lee did say that, the EV growth has been slower than expected, and it's not because of COVID-19. He said it's more just because the EVs are a new, it's a new thing. It's a new technology. Tesla's been around for a while, but now they're just starting to kind of get their traction and take off, that people are still hesitant on. You see the news pumping out, news articles. Oh, Tesla crash kills 2 people. But they don't tell you the details of, hey, they were screwing around with autopilot and it wasn't even enabled on the car. And there's more to these stories that I think push the fear onto the public, and it kind of makes people hesitant of this technology. But I think you give it another 5 to 10 years, and I think we're going to see a massive change in this.
So earlier this month, the China Passenger Car Association released data showing that retail sales of new energy passenger vehicles in China were 185,000 units in March, which is up 91.5% from February and up almost 240% year over year.
Right.
Which, that's huge. That's good growth. Well, among them, the retail sales of pure electric models were 155,000, up 235% year over year. And plug-in hybrids were 30,000, and that was up 262% year over year. So there's really good growth, even in hybrids. Maybe that people are using that as a stepping stone to get into a full EV.
Right.
Which it kind of makes sense to me. But in March, sales of all passenger vehicles in China were 1.75 million. This means that the penetration rate of new energy passenger vehicles has reached 10.6%, and the penetration rate of pure electric vehicles reached 8.8%. So obviously, as I said, with all those numbers, the year-over-year growth is awesome. They're growing really fast. It's not just like 10% a year. They're up 67%.
Right.
So that's really good. And according to China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technologies, China aims to have new energy vehicle penetration reach 25% by 2025. And that's coming from, a guy in the government of China, not just, William Li saying that.
Right.
So,
right.
That's huge.
I think that number, between that just in China, but I think we're going to start to see that in the U.S. as well. With Biden pushing out the infrastructure plan and trying to push out more incentives to buy electric vehicles. I think we're going to see a massive shift from the fuel cars over to electric vehicles. I think you're going to start to see more Teslas. You're going to start to see more Volkswagens, and any other brands of electric vehicles here in the States.
Now, Cadillac just put out a new all electric model as well. So I think that's going to help, because for years it was only just Tesla, and also for years it was only Teslas that cost, close to $100,000.
Right.
So not a lot of people had them, and that was pretty much the only model. And then Chevy came out with the Chevy Bolt, but that wasn't really that popular. And then, I think the more options you have, the more of these big companies in the U.S. that are doing it, it's going to be, it's only going to help.
Right. I agree. So, there's only one way to find out, and that's just to wait and see. And, if any more news it comes out about NIO or anything stock market related, we'll pass all that information along to you guys. But that's going to wrap up this video. If you guys like this kind of content, hit that like, share, notification bell, all that good stuff. It really helps support the channel. And again, thank you guys so much for all the support you've given us so far. We've got links in the description for the Patreon. If you guys want to hop into our Discord to get you access to the portfolios that we have, gives you access to the Discord portfolio where the members get to choose which stocks to put in there. And then we let that ride through the end of the year and see how it does. But again, thank you guys so much for all the support, and we'll see you guys in the next video.